Every great story has a moment that feels like the end. The world looks at the hero and says, "That's it, it's over. Walk away with your head held high." In December 2022, a tunnel in Qatar swallowed Cristiano Ronaldo whole, tears on his face, head down, a dream dying right before our eyes. The world nodded and said, "Great career, amazing career, but this story is done." Except nobody told Portugal that, because 3 years later, right before the 2026 World Cup, this team does not look tired. They do not look like ghosts. They look like history waiting to happen. If you have not been watching what Portugal built quietly, it is time to pay attention. The rest of the world has a big problem on its hands. To get why 2026 feels so different, you need to know how messy things looked just a few years back. Portugal always had talent, that was never the issue. But talent does not win World Cups by itself. Just ask Brazil in the 2000s, ask France in 2014, ask England, who have waited since 1966. Portugal's golden generation had Ronaldo up front, flair on the wings, and a mess everywhere else. They sparkled sometimes, they crumbled when it counted most. The 2022 World Cup was supposed to fix that. Instead, it broke everything wide open. Think about what Ronaldo carried into that tournament. In April that year, he lost a newborn son, a pain so deep, so private, most of us cannot picture it. And still, he flew to Qatar, still laced up his boots, still stood in that tunnel every night, ready to play. Because that is Ronaldo, he never stops. But football was turning on him fast. At Manchester United, a comeback that should have felt like magic turned into pain. He got dropped from the lineup. He clashed with his manager. Then came an interview that ended his Old Trafford story in the ugliest way possible. It's on the forces that, yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club, at the senior executive level, yes, that I felt betrayed. And you think they're trying to get rid of you. Honestly, I shouldn't say that, I don't know, but listen, I don't care. I'm always people should listen to true. Yes, I feel betrayed, and I felt that some people that don't want me here, not only this year but last year too. He walked into that World Cup carrying it all, the grief, the drama, the weight of a whole nation. Then Fernando Santos benched him in the knockout rounds. Whatever you think about that call, the picture it left behind was painful. A man who gave his whole life to Portugal, sitting on a bench, just watching. Then Morocco knocked him out. The cameras found him in that tunnel and would not look away. That clip went everywhere. Every expert, every old player, every fan asked the same question. Is this really the end? For one short moment, even his biggest fans felt doubt creeping. Just a flicker. But that flicker was enough to start the rumors. Here's what most people missed while writing Ronaldo off. He went to Saudi Arabia, he kept scoring, he kept training like a man half his age with a fire that would not quit. He kept leading Portugal through every qualifier, every friendly, every Nations League night like he still had something to prove. Because he did. But Ronaldo finding his hunger again was only half the story. The real change was happening all around him. Roberto Martinez took over as Portugal's manager and saw this squad with fresh eyes. He did not see an old star slowing the team down. He saw the pieces of something special. He saw Bruno Fernandes playing the best football of his life. Not the wild, reckless Bruno from years ago, but a tough, smart, world-class Bruno. A midfielder who runs the game from the middle, who sees passes nobody else can see, who presses hard, passes sharp, and leads with passion. He saw Rafael Leao finally become a complete player. Not just highlight clips, not just speed and tricks, a real weapon. Long strides eating up the grass at terrifying speed. Calm on the ball, even in tight spots. A goal threat defenders simply cannot plan for. He saw Vitinha and João Neves growing together into something huge at Paris Saint-Germain. 2 players who helped rebuild one of Europe's toughest clubs. 2 midfielders who understand pressure, who understand tempo, who know the difference between just playing and truly controlling a match. And he saw Nuno Mendes. If you have not watched him closely yet, this World Cup is going to teach you fast. Some left backs can defend, some can attack. Nuno Mendes does both at a level that makes most fullbacks look like beginners. He has faced Salah, Saka, and Lamine Yamal, and he has not blinked once. Now picture him bombing forward alongside Leao on that left side. Picture trying to stop that combo for 90 straight minutes. Behind all that fire, Martinez built something Portugal always lacked, a strong defense with real class. Ruben Dias, one of the best center backs alive, a leader, a voice, a wall when Portugal need a wall. Inacio next to him, calm, skilled, built for the big stage. Joao Cancelo and Diogo Dalot bringing width, experience, and smart football. This defense is no longer the weak link. It is now the foundation everything stands on. Then came the moment that changed everything. The Nations League final. Portugal versus Spain. Two countries, two styles, 90 minutes that would define them. Portugal won. Not despite the pressure, but because of how they handled it. And they made history doing it. The first nation ever to win the Nations League twice. Think about what that win really meant. You do not beat Spain through chaos. You beat them by controlling the rhythm, pressing with structure, staying calm when it matters, and exploding when it counts. Portugal did all three. It was the first real proof to the world that this team was not just leaning on Ronaldo's name anymore. This was a team with its own identity. And at a World Cup, identity means everything. Here's where the real argument begins. You can build the best Portugal squad in 30 years. Bruno at his peak, Leao in full flight, the PSG engine humming, Nuno Mendes terrifying every winger alive. But the conversation always circles back to one man, Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old. And one question splits fans right down the middle. Does he still deserve to start? Here's what the doubters say, and they have a point. The modern game has changed. Pressing, sprinting, recovering fast, none of that favors a player in his 40s. The Ronaldo who terrorized defenders at United and Real Madrid, that explosive, powerful version, is gone. But here's what the other side says, and they have a point too. What's left is still dangerous in ways that matter. Ronaldo in 2026 is a predator in the box. He doesn't need 15 touches. He doesn't need to sprint behind defenders anymore. He needs one moment, one cross at the right height, right time, one set piece, one penalty, and in knockout football, one moment changes everything. Martinez now faces the toughest call of any coach at this tournament. How do you respect what Ronaldo means while protecting what this team can become? Get it right, and Portugal turn truly dangerous. Get it wrong, and the whole tournament turns into a fight over one man's pride instead of a team's mission. Former players know how delicate this is. Figo has been careful but honest. The team comes first, but you can't just throw away Ronaldo's experience. Deco, now a big name at Barcelona, says the young players actually feed off having Ronaldo around, not pressure. Energy. And the fans? In Lisbon, in Porto, in every city where Portuguese fans watch with their hearts pounding, they want the fairy tale. They want the ending Qatar never gave them. They want to see Ronaldo lift that trophy. There's one version of this story that ends in heartbreak. Ronaldo subbed off in a quarterfinal, walking to the bench. Cameras catching the same painful image from Qatar all over again. Football can be cruel enough to write that ending. But there's another version, one where this team, built from heartbreak and rebuilt with purpose, goes deep into the tournament and shocks everyone. Bruno Fernandes running a semi-final from the middle of the park. Leao tearing apart a right back who simply cannot handle him. Neves and Vitinha controlling the tempo against a team that thought they had it figured out. Nuno Mendes bursting forward for the 100th time, and the other team has nothing left to give. And Cristiano Ronaldo in the final minute, with the whole world watching, standing exactly where he was born to stand. One chance, one moment, one shot at history. That's why the 2026 World Cup has a Portugal problem. Not because they are guaranteed to win it, but because they are finally, truly, terrifyingly able to. Past Portugal teams gave us moments. This generation is hunting something that lasts forever. When the tournament kicks off, when the group stage turns into knockouts, when the pressure starts sorting the good teams from the great ones, watch Portugal. This is not a fairy tale built on hope. This is a mission built on pain, on experience, on growth. One last shot to turn the final chapter of a golden generation into something that never fades. The world has been warned.